Welcome to Monday, everybody. It's the 15th day of February, the second month of 2021, and I believe it's no longer AD. I believe it might now be BC again. Brr cold. Yep, because my phone, which is the source of all my knowledge, my entertainment, my everything, the one and only phone, told me that it is negative 24 degrees outside today. And then it proceeded to try and tell me what it feels like. And I maintain this position that if it is negative 24 degrees outside, whatever it freaking feels like is just insult to injury, and I don't need to have that information. So stay warm, stay safe, and all that. All right. So over the weekend, Saturday, I went out and for the first time in a year, I went and did stand-up comedy for some people in a small town in the area, and it's not that fact is not without its controversy. I accepted the gig. I was under the impression that there would be safety guidelines followed, that they would be spacing the tables and limited seating and all that, and I was mistaken, because that was not the case. There was no masking in the place, and I accepted that as just the way it was from the very beginning, because I really didn't have a choice. Even before I went into the venue, I saw people going in, and I knew there was probably no mask mandate because the people that were going into the building weren't wearing them. And so I walked in for the first time in about a year. For the first time, I walked through a doorway without a piece of cloth over my face. And the reason I didn't put the cloth over my face was because I knew that it would make things difficult for me as an entertainer if I walked through the door and with a mask on. And I guess I knew that there would be a lot of people not wearing masks, but I wasn't really prepared for every person in the place. And there were a lot of them. The place was full, and there was not one mask. And so that was just the reality of it, and that was mine to deal with, and it was my choice. I decided to honor my obligation, to perform the show, and I didn't have a choice because I needed to perform that show because I was there. I needed the money, and sometimes the necessity for the paper that gives you the food and the warm place to live and sleep is pretty damn important. But so yeah, there was no safety guidelines, there was no masks, there was no distancing, and on a private group page, I posted that there were no masks, and I want to point out that there's already been some negative comments about the people that own the venue and the people there. Some pretty unkind things were said, and I don't want to push that, because these are not terrible people. These are not monsters. They are people, good people, decent people, just trying to make a living the way I am, and trying to enjoy their lives and live their lives their own way. Everybody that was in that place for both of those shows, everybody that was there on their own volition. They chose to be there. They chose to take the risk, and that's including me. And let's get to one point. I had good shows. I enjoyed myself. I loved doing stand-up. It felt good to be in front of people again, even if not just the slightest bit nerve-wracking. But now I've also been kind of told that this is going to open me up for some attacks of perhaps me being a hypocrite. I have promoted wearing the masks. I promoted social distancing since the very beginning of the pandemic, since it all came out. I've been pretty vocal about my support for masking and distancing. Um, and I haven't either any of the two things that I do to make money. I haven't been able to do. So there comes a point where I had to make a decision, and I chose to go do a show because I needed the money. I've tried other things. Virtual tip jar wasn't cutting it. Tried selling T-shirts on the line. That wasn't cutting it. Patreon, none of the other ways of bringing in some income were really doing me any good. So what am I supposed to do? I was under the impression that there would be guidelines, but there wasn't, and it was up to me to make my decision from there. What's going on, I think, is that we as people are being fed so much different information that there are people who still believe that the mask doesn't do any good. There are still people that believe that the virus is a hoax. And somehow or another, we've got to figure out how to communicate with each other without calling names, without inflaming tempers. We have to figure out a way to communicate and maybe change some minds to let people know that no, that it's not a hoax. Yes, the masks do work. No, it's not 100%, but it's better than nothing, and it's what we need to do to bring this virus to its knees. Now I'm gonna sit here in the apartment for a while and monitor myself and hope for the best. But I can't emphasize enough to any venues, any businesses that are thinking about dropping masks altogether. One of the things that people have said throughout this whole thing is that if you're too scared, don't go out. Stay home if you're scared. Well, let me address this right now. I went and I did a show in a room full of maskless people, so it is not fear that motivates me staying home. I am not afraid. I am not a sniveling little coward, trying to hide from a bug. I went in there and I did a show. I wear a mask, not because I'm scared. I wear a mask because I care. I wear a mask because I believe that it will help fellow people and myself. I preach social distancing, not because I'm scared, but because I want this virus to be contained. I want us all to go back and have the kind of night I had Saturday without the specter of this pandemic, this virus hanging over us. I want us all to live our lives to their fullest. But I can't encourage you enough to please. The governor of Iowa, while dropping the mask mandates and a lot of the restrictions, is still on a television commercial promoting safety guidelines. So what she's asking the people and businesses and business owners and everybody to do is take personal responsibility. Not saying that, hey, it's okay not to wear a mask. Maybe that's what she's saying, but that's not what the policy is, really. She's asking us all to take personal responsibility. So it's not, hey, I can go anywhere I want to without wearing a mask, or hey, I can crowd this bar. You can if you want to. I mean, and I witnessed that Saturday, but she's asking you to. We're asking you to take personal responsibility and wear the mask when you go to a grocery store, wear the mask when you go to a business, and in the bars, come on. I mean, don't crowd in on each other like everything's okay. I know this was a long one. It was a rambling one. I don't even know if I covered everything I wanted to cover. I want to thank the people in Avon for a great time. I enjoyed the shows, and your hospitality was great. And I hope nothing but the best for you. I hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone's well, and have happy lives going well into many years in the future. But until then, everybody, please Listen to the health professionals. Listen to your nurse friends, your doctor friends. Listen to the CDC recommendations and the Surgeon General. They're all telling us wear the mask, social distance, wash your hands. I'm telling you, peace, love, understanding, make the world a better place for all of us. All of us, all of us. Peace, love, one love.